Hello, everyone. This is Gordon Landfeld at Margaret W. Wong and Associates, the immigration law firm with locations across the USA. Our normal host for Thursdays, Juan Carlos Brando, is traveling today. Thank you so much for joining us. Our attorney today is Frank Kurjenke, longtime attorney in Michigan and Ohio, who joined Margaret Wong's team this past year. Margaret W. Wong has been working in immigration law for over 45 years, helping thousands of clients work and raise families in the United States. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns about your immigration situation, please give us a call or send us a text message. The phone number is 216-279-3984, 216-279-3984. That's the phone number you need to call to make an appointment for a consultation with attorney Margaret W. Wong. Or you can get your questions answered free on this show today. Good morning, Attorney Kurjenke. How are you today?
Good morning, Gordon. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today, Frank. Frank is one of the attorneys who helps Margaret W. Wong help people who visit one of our offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, Raleigh, North Carolina. May I start with a question about current events? Can you tell us about the Venezuelan TPS re-registration process? What do they need to do, et cetera, and the deadline? Let me give you the access here to the information there.
Thank you. So if you have TPS already approved, it expires on September 9th. You have to re-register between September 8th and November 7th to extend it. If you have TPS approved, your employment authorization expires on September 9th, but it is automatically extended. If you don't have TPS, then you have to apply by tomorrow. So that's something that you really need to do if you haven't already have it, if you don't already have it.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjenke. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration situation, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Frank, here's another question. My daughter doesn't work and hasn't filed taxes. Can she file for me? She was born here and she's 23.
Well, every person, this is a tax question, not an immigration question, but you should probably talk to a tax attorney, but everyone has to file their own taxes. And so she can't file for you. You have to file for yourself, and she has to file for herself.
Thank you for the answer, Attorney Kurjenke. Remember, Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. To request a consultation, please call 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here is a question from Gopal Jain. For L1A1 requirement, is that in the past 3 years I have to employ internationally? Well, let's see. So
L1A is an inter-company transferee. That's a very good question. We have people that handle employment-based immigration. I do primarily deportations, but we have people here who could help you if you want to call.
Excellent. So, Mr. Gopal Jain, if you please contact our office, you may call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's a question. How do I know the status of my U visa procedure?
Well, there's a USCIS page that will tell you if you've already filed, you can go online and find out where it's at. If you haven't filed, then you can talk to us and we'll tell you what to do. You're going to need if you are applying for the first time, you're going to need an official to help you with the they're going to have to certify that you assisted with a criminal case. So you're going to either need the police or a prosecutor to help you with that.
Thank you for the answer, Attorney Kurchenke. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration status, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Frank, the next question is this. At the time of the medical testing, is it necessary to say that I have HIV? I'm from Colombia and got the virus with a used needle, but my spouse is a citizen and is filing for me. I don't know what I have to tell the officers.
Well, you have to tell the officers whatever they ask you, and be truthful. However, HIV is no longer a bar to admission to the United States. So I don't believe they're asking people about that anymore. But obviously, you have to be truthful. If the doctor asks you, do you have any, if he asks you, do you have HIV, you have to tell him. But I don't think they're asking that anymore.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurchenke. Remember that Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. To request a consultation, please call 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Or look at us on the web at imwong.com. Here's another question. I lived 22 years in the U.S. from 1988 to 2011 and was imprisoned for drug possession for 3 months. Can I fix my immigration status? One note is I left the country for 10 years ago and my children are citizens. We are from Mexico.
So that's a very good question. It comes down to whether you were admitted or not. If you were admitted, there may be, and it also depends on what your drug conviction was for, whether you were convicted. You're obviously convicted since you went to prison. If you were not admitted, any drug offense prohibits you from entering. And that's the unfortunate, so that's any offense. In any country, not just the United States. If you had legal status, then there may be a potential waiver, but this is something that somebody's going to have to look at your conviction to see exactly what you were convicted of and what your status was when you ran into the trouble.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurchenke. Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. If you have any questions about your immigration status, please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. This question, hi, I'm from Bangladesh. I have a jewelry business in Chicago and would like to bring my nephew from Bangladesh as he is a gold technician. Can I do that?
That's a good question. That would, obviously that requires our employment division to answer that question. But if he's going to be brought in as a temporary worker, you'd have to get a labor certification that says that there are no other gold technicians in the Chicago area that could help you. So that's a question that you should probably contact us on. There may be, a visa that's available to him.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurchenke. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration status, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's an interesting question. Can assaulted street vendors be eligible for a U visa? I was selling water outside the Atlanta stadium and a big guy took all my money and pushed me. The stadium security saw everything but couldn't do much. I'm from the Dominican Republic.
So another good question. Assaults, felonious assaults, and robberies are do qualify you for a U visa, but again, you'd have to get a state authority to sign for you, indicating that you've helped with a prosecution or an investigation. So it is possible that you could get a U visa from that.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. Margaret W. Wong Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. To request a consultation with Margaret W. Wong, please call 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. I'm from Venezuela, goes the next question, and was detained in Texas for 12 days. I got released on Tuesday, and I want to know if I can apply for the work permit. I got the parole.
Okay, so if you haven't applied for TPS, you got to do it immediately. You can also get a work permit once you file for TPS. So you need to file for TPS ASAP because as somebody who just entered, it sounds like you just entered. The registration stops tomorrow. So
thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration status, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's another question. I'm married to a U.S. citizen. He has been very violent in the last 3 months. I have not called the police. He filed an I-130 for me, but it's still pending. Is there a risk to lose the case if I call the police? Thank you.
Well, these are delicate situations and you probably should talk to somebody in confidence. However, there is a visa called the Violence Against Women's Act that that if you're married, if you're abused by, in this case, a U.S. citizen, and you're married to them, you could qualify for that, and that wouldn't affect anything. So, you're asking whether you should call the police. If you're at any risk of harm, you should always call the police. It has nothing to do with your immigration status. And, obviously there are other remedies for you, not just his application. But if you're at risk, if you're facing some physical risk, you should call the police.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration situation, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Now that the priority deportation changed, who can be deported?
Well, anyone who's here unlawfully, the priority deportation just means that the government has decided that certain people they're gonna prioritize different people, but it doesn't mean you can't be deported. So if you're picked up on a DUI or you're picked up on a domestic violence or you're picked up shoplifting, they can still deport you. It's just at their discretion, and so the policy has changed, not the law.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. Remember, Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. If I don't apply for asylum within 1 year, what are my chances of winning? From Colombia, and I fled the guerrillas there.
Sorry about that. So, you know, obviously, you know that you're supposed to file within 1 year. There are exceptions. It depends on why you didn't apply. Um, were you notified that you had to file within 1 year? That is a important question. So the application within 1 year is separate and apart from the validity of your claim. So if you do have a valid claim, you should still file for asylum, because if you fear going back to Colombia, then you should still file. The issue will be whether the court will accept it or not, and that will be an argument in court.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration situation, please give us a call or send us a note. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's another question. I have a child with an abuser. I called the police and he was deported. But he changed now, going to church and everything. Can I do something for him? I was born here in the U.S.
Well, he already has a deportation, so we would need more information than just that. It would be very difficult to get. The bottom line is it'd be very difficult to get him in. Just because he's changed, his behavior doesn't mean that that the government's going to let him in.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you have any questions or concerns about your immigration situation, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. If someone has a 10-year ban, can they still apply for a work visa?
If you're out of the country, you can't, no.
But if they're in the country and they have a 10-year ban?
A 10-year ban means you can't come back. It means you've been deported and you can't apply for work authorization. Obviously, we should probably talk to somebody. It sounds like a confusing question, so maybe you should talk to somebody. But if you have a 10-year ban, it means you've already been sent out of the country, and therefore, or there's a deportation order, you're not likely to get a work visa, no.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. Remember that Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. Here's another question. My family came from Venezuela, crossing the Central American jungle. 5 were released, but the 3 younger ones are detained in Louisiana. Is there something we can do to get them released? They're ages of 22 and 23.
It depends on how long they've been detained and why they're being detained. But yes, things can be done, including a habeas corpus, which we've done many times.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you have any questions or concerns about your current situation, please give us a call at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's another question. My husband crossed the border with our son, and they have a hearing in October. Do they need an attorney for the hearing?
So if it's the first hearing, it's what's called a master hearing. This is not answering your question directly. The direct answer is you should probably always take a lawyer with you. You should always have a lawyer when you're in any kind of legal proceeding. But if it's the master hearing, if it's the first hearing, you can tell the court that you need time to get an attorney. If it's if you've already had a number of hearings, then, you should probably get an attorney as soon as possible.
Thank you for the answer, Attorney Kurjanki. And if you do have immigration situations such as this, please give us a call or send us a message. The phone number is 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's another question. I was detained for a month and was released with a tracking phone. I was living in Texas, but now I'm moving to Chicago. How do I do that?
You'd have to tell the ICE people down in wherever you're in Texas that you want to move to Chicago, and then they could transfer your registration from Texas to Chicago.
Thank you for that answer, Frank. Remember that Margaret W. Wong and Associates has offices in Cleveland, New York, Atlanta, Chicago, Columbus, Nashville, and Raleigh, North Carolina. To request a consultation, please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's a question from Clifford asking, for someone with current DACA, is it better to pursue a 601A waiver or an approved EB2 visa process?
That's definitely out of my wheelhouse. So you need to call somebody at our firm that deals with EB2s and those types of waivers.
And we certainly have many attorneys who have broad experience in all things immigration. So if you do have questions about your immigration situation, please call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Do you know the requirements for an O visa?
Well, you have to have extraordinary ability. So, in science, art, or education, business, you need extraordinary ability.
So what kind of a person would have an extraordinary ability?
Like Einstein or Salvador Dali. You don't have to be that, but it's one of those type of extraordinary ability type situations. It's not just for your average person. Like I couldn't get one if I were applying.
So here's a expansion on that question. I was playing soccer in the second league in Honduras. Is that extraordinary?
The second league, and somebody'd have to take a look at that. Second league doesn't mean number one league. You'd have to be of note, of a significant. You'd have to be internationally known or nationally known. It's not just being able to not just playing in a sport in a professional capacity. You have to have more than that.
So if you really want to find out about your eligibility for any visa, please schedule a consultation with Margaret W. Wong and Associates. You may call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. We have time for a couple of more questions. I published several journals, but I don't speak English. I'm using a translator now. How do I get a work visa?
You apply for one. I mean, if you have work authorization, if you have a visa, if you're a permanent resident, then you can apply. But I mean, just because you've published several journals doesn't mean you can work in the United States.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. If you need assistance with that question and need assistance in getting a work visa, please call Margaret W. Wong and Associates at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's a question from YouTube. My husband is detained in Texas, and supposedly he will be taken to New York. Does that mean we need to move there? We live in Atlanta.
So the unfortunate consequence of being detained in the federal system is that they can move you anywhere. You could be picked up in San Diego, and they can ship you to Ohio. So it just depends on whether you want to move near him. And just because, maybe it's in Batavia or near Buffalo where they're going to detain him, it doesn't mean that they're not going to move him again. So, if you've already have roots in Atlanta, I would wait and see. But the question I have is, is there a way to get him out? Because if he does qualify for a bond, you can get him out and then he can go back to you in Atlanta. But, moving around, you move to New York and then they send them, to Wyoming or somewhere, that doesn't make sense to me.
So basically, if you're a detainee or if your relative is a detainee, please call your immigration attorney, and you can call Margaret W. Wong and Associates for a consultation. You can call us at 216-279-3984. That's 216-279-3984. Here's a question. My wife is waiting for a green card nurse interview abroad, and I'm here already in the U.S. How does it work for me?
Well, it depends on how you're here in the United States. She's going to be waiting for her interview abroad, whatever country that's in, and she's going to get her interview for her work visa as a nurse. I don't know, what there is for you to do at this point. If she needs documents or she needs something, then you help.
Thank you for that answer, Attorney Kurjanki. We have no more time for questions today. We've had so many people contacting. We have many questions for our future programs. You may watch Ms. Margaret W. Wong or one of her attorneys any day on Facebook or YouTube, where there are many videos with questions and answers about immigration. Also, be sure to watch Wednesdays at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time for the Spanish language Facebook program and YouTube live program. On Thursdays, Margaret Wong has her 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time program in the English language on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you, Attorney Kurjanki, for your time today, and we'll see you another time.
Thank you, Gordon.